But I say,
well, go ahead.
I think to be a effective leader, it requires a lot, right? You need a bit of charisma to be able to reach people. I know someone, it might have been mentioned earlier, you have to be proven. People expect you to have some type of stain before they follow you. They have to believe you. That's a big part of it. And just understanding perspective. I've been a leader for a while with a lot of things, even something as simple as like a car club or whatever. And I would take on that challenge because I feel like we could get it done, right? But you have to be able to understand where that other person's perspective is and where their deficiencies are, and you have to know how to talk to everybody. I know it was mentioned earlier that sometimes you got to speak on it. I know Sweeney said it. You got to call shit out. You can't be afraid to call things out when it's not cool. And a lot of people are too nice to be a leader because they don't want to ruffle feathers, and they're like, well, damn, let me just see if they do. They won't do better. Some people you got to put pressure on. Some people you got to be easy with, but it's up to you as a leader to be able to discern how to reach people, because you can't paint everybody with a big brush. You have to get in there and understand who I could help with this. Right now, Shan, I know you also mentioned that they don't make it easy for us. It's extremely difficult because when you try to be a leader, like they said, toxic masculinity, you try to be a leader, like, oh, well, what's wrong with homie, man? Why he acting like that? And it's just a lot easier for us to just not be a leader. It's so much easier because now when you decided you want to lead, you are accountable for everyone's actions. When someone else makes a mistake, you are held accountable for it. And a lot of people just don't want that pressure. The way that we'd have to talk about just how we are mentally right now, and we're just not as tough. So we can't take it when somebody's coming down on us, and we don't want that responsibility. And we've been groomed in such a way where it's just easier, right? A lot of us don't have our positive male role models in, and I stress that all the time, and I'm gonna continue to stress it because it's necessary, right? The positive male in your life is going to be the person who can form you into a good leader, because you're going to be following him, and he's going to set the standard, he's going to set the precedent, and you're going to follow that. And judging on what you got from him is what you're going to get ultimately, and what you're going to produce. It's so much easier to just play video games. It's so much easier to just eat what the hell you want to eat, right? It's so much easier to be lazy. Nobody bothers you, and everyone says it's okay. Oh, that's what you want to do? It's okay. That's what society is right now. They tell you, oh, okay, it's cool. They'll just coddle you, and they'll say, nah, don't worry about it. It's all right. If you can't do it, don't worry about it. And that's what we're dealing with. Nobody really pushes us. We don't hold each other accountable as much as we should. We don't tell each other, look, man, this ain't right. You're going to have to get busy out here. We always say, oh, it's okay to be average. It's okay to be normal. But we don't strive for excellence. We just don't. It's not in our nature because we weren't groomed like that to begin with. So the main problem, if we're going to try to be solution based, fathers, do everything in your power to not have children that you are not going to be in their lives. Stay away from females with those red flags that we was talking. Do everything that you can. You can't eliminate the risk, but you can certainly do things to mitigate it. You just have to be more careful about what it is you're doing. Be extremely cautious what women you select to be in your life. Make sure it's a woman that is really considerate, understanding, and it just knows how to treat a man. Because you're not going to be, if that's not the case, it's not going to be sustainable. And then we're going to be raising fatherless children, and the cycle will continue. So we have to be in our children's life as much as we can, because that's where it starts. And you have to teach them how to be a leader and not to be a follower, and teach them that the easy route is not the way to go. And we have to hold our friends accountable. When our friend come in and they telling us all of the issues that they having, are we giving them solutions? Are we telling them, nah, that shit was corny that you did? Do we hold them accountable? Everybody around us. And it's not, and nobody's expecting every single dude to be out here trying to lead the world. But you start small. You start with your family. You start with your immediate circle. And you progress into whatever that you know you can handle.
I got a question for all the fellas on the panel, real quick. Do y'all?
No, man. Let me answer first, Sweeney. Before you change yourself.
Hold on. I'm not gonna change the
No, I
subject.
ain't been talking, dog. I ain't been talking.
Man. I've been going for an hour and a half, man. Let me just ask y'all this one question.
Well, that's your fault. You should have been on time, man, bro.
This one question.
So let me go and finish. Let me say what I need to say.
Go ahead, man.
When JR asked a question about leadership, I sit there and I said no. So we haven't been good leaders. We haven't been. The reason why we ain't been good leaders, it shows by what we're having a conversation now. A lot of times men pick the women they want instead of women they need. That's one thing. When you try to partner up with somebody or try to collab with somebody or get with somebody, we picking the wrong people who are bringing in and having kids with it and trying to make a wife out of. They don't deserve it. That's a failure in our leadership because we're not seeing the red flags like Shan said. He missed the red flags. He overlooked them. We passed them over. Why? Like you said, a big ass and some big titties. She gives good head. She cook decent. Or she keep a goddamn clean house. Well, you need more than that. I need to know what's between her goddamn ears. And if she ain't got sense enough to come in out the goddamn rain, I don't need to get with that heifer. I don't need to be with her. But that's a lack of leadership on my part if I do some bullshit like that. As a man, a woman shouldn't move us like they do. But we allow that to happen. Why? Because we some weak-ass motherfuckers, man. We fall for the putty. We can't help ourselves. But that's just our nature. But somehow we're going to have to fight that shit off and be the leaders we need to be. Stand up to P. Instead of being like the rest of these heifers and sitting down. We better than that. But we got to act like it. And we don't do it all the time. We do it every once in a while. But we need to be more consistent with it. And just like I think Trev said, holding your friends accountable. You know you got questionable dudes in your circle. Either get rid of them motherfuckers or you need to coach them up, have a conversation with them, and they need to make a change. If they're not willing to make a change, you make a change. Get them out of your goddamn circle because they don't do nothing but bring you negativity. They're not going to help your leadership skills. They're going to bring them down. Then people going to question your leadership skills.
Look at God. I'm glad he stopped him with that bullshit. Now just playing. Hank. I was just playing. Hank was saying a whole lot there.
Hank, you back on?
Oh, am I? I didn't know my shit was acting up. My bad. But like I said, I teach this to my family members, my son's teammates, and all that shit because leadership is very important. So fuck what Sweeney talking about. He ain't talking about shit. He's about to come up with some excuse why men are leaders. We're not all leaders like that. If that's the case, we wouldn't be having this conversation about questioning our leadership.
You can't assume what I'm about to say.
If we was leaders.
You can't assume what I'm about to say, man.
So we got to accept what we got to accept. We got to do better. That's what we got to do.
You can't assume what I was about to ask or say.